Hey everybody. So we're actually going to be starting again another episode of Let's Build Something. Got a r/programming request that we can hit up today. I felt this one out. Last episode I actually kind of briefly touched on it. Wasn't exactly sure how I was going to go about solving it. I kind of came up with a loose outline of how I think I can go about solving it. And so that's today what we're going to attack. So right now actually if you are to look at the request, you can see that this guy transcribed chords for a living and would love a little widget of some sort that allows him to set a daily goal for a word count, fills up a bar or an image or some sort in order to show me the progress he's made. He has a great trouble focusing and he'd like a visual indicator. Ideally, this would track the words between multiple documents that I can close, as I have to switch documents for every 10 minutes worth of audio. Would love for it to try to automatically count my word count. However, if that is unfeasible, I'm happy to enter the words manually. So we're not going to make them do that. We're going to see if we can try and find something. So my first thought was a PowerShell script. And then after looking into that, I don't want to subject myself or anybody who watches these videos to trying to understand the nuances and complexity of PowerShell, in addition to the fact to where I don't know if this guy is the administrator of this device that he's going to be running this on, and which is a question that I asked because I said, are you a computer you can run the administrator on? And otherwise we're looking at a Python script, which may require him to download Python in order to run it. He said he's an at-home contractor. I know the feeling, and Python is no issue because it's free to download as he understands. So actually, you know what? It looks like since I last posted this, well, let's see. So why not use the word count built into Word? He says he wanted it as a separate window because he switches across documents often. This guy made something. I don't know what it is. Let's see. It looks like, I guess, some kind of C++ application, because that's what that looks like. And then what it does is as he types, it almost looks like maybe it would be almost in a way like a keylogger, and every time you press a space, it pretty much is like a keyboard hook. So actually this could work. He's in a notepad though, and I'm pretty sure this guy's in a Word document. Something tells me it's in a Word document. I highly doubt that he would be in a notepad typing these court reporting, doing I think it's stenographer? It's a court stenographer. So this guy's obviously like a stay-at-home court stenographer, which is really cool. But yeah, I don't think they're going to be typing this in Notepad. It's probably going to be in WordPad because he probably has one of those keyboards that interface with the with his computer, and he's able to quickly type, do short keystrokes, stuff like that. They have their own kind of world how they type. So he switches documents for every 10 minutes worth of audio. I don't know what a document is. I assume it to be a Word document. I don't know why I'm making that assumption, but that's what we're going to go with today. So that's just going to be the way that we do it. So the first thing that we're going to do is, let's see, I don't even know how to get the word count using Python. Get word count of a Word document. See, I was researching it earlier with Python. I discovered this. Here it is. Okay, so you can count the words for versions less than 2. Oh, no. Okay, so someone actually made this Python docx. This library is available for Python users. I think he has a restriction on it. Yeah, so you have to have Python 2.6, 0.7, 3.3, or 3.4. The only two versions I have on my computer are 2.7 and 3.7. So we're actually going to probably work with 2.7 today, and that's what he'll just install. So we'll just go from there, and we'll just see how far we get, because this is going to be just an attempt at making it. I think the first thing we need to do is probably create a folder. We can call it doc. Just call it docs. And inside of here, we got to create some Word documents. So let's see, let's create a Microsoft Word document. And what in the heck is it making? Why is it trying to make that? Did I accidentally do a database one? Let's see, new Word document. Here we go. Okay, and we'll call it doc1. And into it we will type. Let's find some Lorem Ipsum. So Lorem Ipsum, for those of you who maybe aren't, super into dummy text, Lorem Ipsum is literally just words that look like English, and they're always used for placeholders on web pages. Here we can just paste that. I don't know what this is at the bottom. We don't need this. Let's see. Nothing crazy as far as formatting goes, which is fine by me. Let me see if I can change my layout. Why in the world am I in? Oh, sorry. Single page mode. Okay, yeah, sorry. Okay, so anyway, we've got this. We're just going to copy this. Actually, we can just copy this document and rename it a bunch of times. We know that there's 511 words in this document, so we can just replicate this document. So let's copy it, paste it, and there we go. So that should probably do for now. I can't imagine that these parentheses are going to cause a problem. We assume that he's using docx because that's what I'd have to assume. We're making a lot of assumptions in this, but that's because maybe the instructions weren't so clear. And then we're going to have a doc word counter. This is going to be our Python directory. And so what we're going to do is we're going to actually start by making a Python script, and we'll call it just word count, and do .py. And if we actually were to open up a terminal right here and do python-v, not underscore v, -v, you'll see we're on 3.7. In order to install this library, we need to be on 2.7. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up environment variables, and somewhere on my path, I believe, oh no, it's on the system path, this one, we're going to go in here and we're going to change 3.7 to 2.7, just 2.7, that's the name of the folder. And then we're going to press OK, and let's pop open a new terminal. All my other terminals have been closed, so this should refresh the environment. And let's do python-v. Jeez, man. Okay, now we're on 2.7. So there is that library that we were interested in using. This one. It looks like we can just take this command, and we should be able, just to make sure that I'm not doing anything crazy, we can open it in PowerShell. Let's see if this pip is installed. Okay. Okay, that's kind of annoying. I hate PowerShell so much. Okay, all right. Let's see if we can actually paste this in now. There we go. Okay. So this is us trying to install that library right now. I know we're going to need at least Python docx, and we can look at trying to use it. Let's see. Okay, it looks like we're getting something. And cool. And if we run python word count.py, okay, we can run it. Okay, cool. So let's shrink this guy up because it's taking up a lot of real estate on the page. And we're gonna, well, we might need this. Actually, we're probably gonna need this because we need to see how this works. So it looks like you can do add paragraph, add heading. Looks like you can do a lot. You can add a lot of stuff to a document. How do you read from a document? Let's see. Is there like a text or maybe a paragraph? So you can add paragraphs, can insert paragraphs. How in the world do you read a paragraph with this documentation? This thing is all about making Word documents, which is useful, no doubt, but not for what we're trying to do right now. Okay. There's got to be something about this object inside of it. Let's see. Applying a paragraph style. No. Working with documents. So let's see. Save. Okay, so it looks like you can open up an existing document and then you can stream it. It's file-like document. Let's see. We don't want to really stream it. What we really want to do is working with text. Okay, so it looks like you can do paragraph. You can add paragraph, you can format the paragraph. How do you just get the paragraphs? Let's see. Line spacing, keep with next. Is there like a .text function for paragraphs? That'd be kind of useful. working with documents, working with text. I mean, we've already been on this page. You know what? It looks like paragraphs are kind of like a subclass of a document. To be completely honest, this documentation does not exactly help too much. Let's see, paragraphs. Read paragraph, Python docx. We're just gonna see because I'm sure that someone's done it. How to extract text. Oh, look at that. Okay, so this person already knows you can do for paragraph, and then you can just call text. Okay, cool. All right, and it looks like to import this library, we just do import docx. So let's get started, I guess. We can probably just open up Atom on the other screen, and here I'll bring it into view. Okay, cool. So we're going to do import docx, which is going to import the library. And in order to do this, we're probably going to have to specify a full file path. So let's see what my path is actually right now to this documents folder, to this one right here. We open this and just go copy address as text, and then open up this one. Here it is. We're going to paste that in. Okay, so you see that our slashes are being escaped, so we're going to have to double slash on Windows. It's just the way things are because we use backslashes. And what I want to do is, I think the first objective is just to list all of the document files in the directory, because then from there we can iterate over every single one of them, and then we'll be able to append them to the file list. Then we can read in all the paragraphs from every file. So we're going to do files, and the way to list stuff in a directory is actually you can use OS, and we're going to do list directory, and then we're just going to throw the path at it. In order to use OS, we of course have to import it. So the next is word count is 0, which this is just going to be a placeholder right now, and file list. All right, so that's going to be an empty array, and then let's just do for, we'll just call it document in files. This is going to iterate over whatever this returns, and that is going to do, first off, we can just do print document, but we don't know what this guy's life is, and we also don't know what in the world is happening with PowerShell. Okay, what in the world just happened right there? Anyway, you can see that we're listing all of the files out here, but if we have anything that's not a docx, we're not going to be able to read it. So I don't even think that I don't even know if this library is going to work with just regular DOCs, which are like way old. That's like 2007, which, I mean, if you're working in the legal world, could definitely be possible, but I'm going to assume that we're not. So let's just say if docx is in the document, which is just a string. So this is checking if this substring exists in this string, which for our case examples, the docx is a part of that string. Then what we're going to do is we're going to take file list, we're going to append the document, and so now we're going to have a list of strings that all are names of documents. We know what the path is. That's kind of just like a global variable for this entire script. And then we're going to do for doc file in the file list. This is where we iterate over the list, and this is where we're going to actually do some of the magic. So this is where we do what that documentation was calling, where you specify the document object, and then what we have to do is specify the fully qualified path to the document file, because if we just throw the name in here, the doc file, it's not going to work because our documents aren't in the same directory. We actually have to search for them. They're in a remote destination. So what we can do is just some fancy string operations. And what this is basically taking the path, adding another path separator, and then we're going to append another variable here. And what we're going to do is we're actually going to do that right now. Throw the percents in, throw another parentheses, and we're going to throw in path, and we're going to throw in doc file. There we go. And then we're going to do doc text is going to be equal to, we're probably going to take just new lines and join them. But let's see, where was that documentation? So yeah, it looks like you do Okay, so here's, yeah, they're joining the text by new lines, which is what we're going to need to do too. So we're going to be reading in just this raw data. There's actually a way to do this in one little line. So let's see, we'll do this. We'll do \n, and we'll do join, and this is where we're going to get all the text and then just automatically just append it, join it all together, but it'll be just one really long string of spaced out words. So paragraph is what we're gonna do. We're gonna get the paragraph. So text, encode, and we're gonna need UTF-8 for this, because I don't know if we need to specify the type, but I guarantee that this is gonna throw some type of error if we don't have it, because who knows how Word documents are encoded. I sure as hell don't. So we're gonna do for paragraph in document, and then we're just gonna get all the paragraphs. So, and you can see the reason I did this is because if you call document paragraphs, it gives you an array that you can iterate over. And here is where this guy's just appending all the text, and then he just joins them all. We're doing this same function, but we're doing it with 2 \n. We can do a single one if we want. I'm just doing 2 just to make sure there's space between in case we need to actually try and read this stuff. But you can see that we have paragraph text encode. I'm throwing this encode in here for every paragraph in document properties. So this is a one-line for statement. That's all this is. And then if we want, we can get the word count by doing document word count, and we can do length of the doc text, and we just do we're just going to split the entire crazy long string on every single space, which should give us a pretty good idea of what the word count is in the document. So let's see, document S contains, I guess, just D words, and we'll do this, throw in this, and then our 2 variables are going to be doc file and the doc word count. There we go. See, does that work? Name document is not defined. Oh, that's why. Let's just import the actual document function. It's the only thing we really use. I'm a dummy. It's from the library import the module. There we go. So document 1 contains 503, document X contains 503, this one contains 503. It says they all contain 503, but if we open them in Word, we'll see that actually that there's a little bit of some funny math, because this is 511 and we're not exactly sure, and I'm not going to sit here and count to see what it determines as a word or not. But I mean, 511, 503, I mean, that's really not that bad. And I bet you if we threw some crazy formatting in here, we'd just get wild answers, but I think we'll be all right. So yeah, we're not going to worry about it. I mean, we're gonna let them know that there might be a slight discrepancy in the numbers that are shown in Word, but other than that, I think we're doing all right now, because this number's close enough for snuff. And also, we're also shooting low, so if anything, he's going to overachieve whatever goal he specifies. So this is pretty much the script right now. What we could do is we could have a function that just runs in the background, and it could print to a console, but I want to try and do something special today. I actually want to try and make a GUI for this using tkinter. So tkinter, for those of you who are uninitiated, tkinter is actually Python's native GUI, and it looks like absolute trash. It is not fun to work with. It makes something look completely ugly and hideous, but some people are incredibly good at it and can do some amazing things with it. What is this image? What the hell is going on here? Oh, that's just someone put puzzle marks. Okay, I was about to say, because that looks wild. But this is pretty much, what we can aspire to get. It almost looks like something you'd find on like a PLC control system. Just something really ugly, but you know what? Like, this is complex. Oh my god. Wow, how in the world did they build that? Anyway, that is not building Hello World. Get out of here. Okay, anyway, yeah, what we're actually going to do is we're going to build a tkinter GUI interface that automatically calls this function and will report the words back to us. So tkinter has a wealth, and I mean an absolute wealth of documentation. It's very well documented. It's because everything about it can be confusing, easily confusing actually. So we're going to go over it, and if you guys can just bear with me, we will go over certain aspects of tkinter, but you will see just how messy this is going to get. So the first thing that we need to do, if we're going to do, first off, I'm just going to, okay, let's just do this. Let's break up this into functions. So we're going to call this def get documents, and we're going to call it files. We're going to pass in the files right here. This variable, we're going to pass it in when we use it. And then what we need to do is actually return file list. And instead of having file list be right here, we're going to put it in here. There we go. Okay, so first thing done. And then the next function we're going to make is def report values, and here's we're going to pass in the file list and the path, because those are the two variables that are not made inside of this function that it relies on to work. So we can just take this entire block and just tab it over, and we're going to pass in these two values, but we're going to actually return the word count here. So we can do word count equals 0, we can get rid of it up here, and we can show this print statement, but it's really going to make things look messy. So let's just do word count is equal to word count plus doc word. There is a way to do like a plus equal. Let's see if that. I don't want to do it and then it not be right. Plus equal a actual valid? Let's see. Yeah, okay, so plus equal is valid. There's also all the other operators that you can do. Okay, if plus equals valid, then let's make it look Pythonic instead of walking around like a bunch of chumps. Not doing plus equal. So we'll do plus equal. And then what we're going to do is outside of the loop, we're just going to return word count. And so this is actually going to get us the word count. So these functions right now, if we were to call them, I mean, it's not going to look good. But what we could do is just say, let's see, file list. I think, yeah, we can call it again. This is a different variable than the one that gets specified inside of here. So file list is going to be get documents, and we're going to just pass in files right there. And then what we can do is just do print report values. And so this is actually going to give us just the entire word count across all of our documents, which roughly 1,000 and so 2,000. So we should have something like 2,000. Let's see, where did we go wrong? Invalid syntax. Def report values. Oh, forgot my colon. There we go. Function report values. Let's see, we got return word count. Oh, I'm a dummy. You actually got to call the damn thing. So file list and path, there we go, which is referencing the path is this variable, and file list is actually instantiated here. This variable and this variable are named the same thing, but they're not in the same scope. So we can't read this value unless we return it, which we do, and we give it to this value. So maybe not the best way to write it, but look at that, 2012. That was a terrible movie. God, okay, that was so bad. Anyway, 2012. So there you go. There's our total word count. You know what? Let's where's our documents? Let's open up one. So 12, and then we'll do 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. I don't know what that word means, but what I just did is hopefully when we run the script again, we should get 2019 back. Look at that. Okay, now it's the right year. It's just coincidental. It's literally the amount of words. Just so happens that it's 2019. So I'm sure that'll age this video very well. Anyway, okay, so we've broken apart our entire script, which just does it once. It only checks it once. This would be of zero use to the guy as it is right now because we can't specify an objective word count that maybe he wants to hit. We also are not continually checking. Wouldn't it be cool if while you were typing, when you save the document, you automatically get the next word count? That's the kind of shit that I'm going for. That's the kind of quality that I'm looking for right now. And speaking of quality, we're actually going to get into building the tkinter interface. So I just forget I said the word quality, I guess. But from tkinter, we're going to import everything just because it's going to keep throwing errors if I keep trying to specify documents. And I think that's all. This is literally the only line you need to import the entire Python GUI library. It's really awesome. I know I've been talking kind of smack about tkinter this entire tutorial, but for real, tkinter is extremely powerful and it should be treated with respect because it's serious and it's also cross-platform. Linux, CentOS, I mean, literally anything that has a desktop, Linux, Mac, or Windows, it works. So that takes some serious brain power to make, and I think that's awesome. So, but tkinter is just, it's not making a web page. Let's say that. It's not making a web page. So it can be difficult, and there is a little bit of a learning curve. So I would really suggest if someone wanted to try and if one of you wanted to try right now and just see what you could even make, just see if you could even get the basic simple UI running for tkinter, just because that alone is an achievement, believe me. And the only way you'll get better at programming anything, especially interfaces, is by making some extremely, extremely terrible ones for like a lot of times. Anyway, I think what we can move on next is actually we're gonna make the tkinter interface. So the thing that we did already is we imported the tkinter like instance, but what we're gonna do now is we're gonna actually make a class called interface. And this probably isn't the best way to do it because we're programming it all in one file, but I don't want to make this guy have to use multiple files. So we're going to specify an init function. We're going to do self master, and then we're going to do self.master is equal to master. Okay, and then that's pretty much all we need for that init function. What we can do now is actually, this is where we import the tkinter. So we're going to make a variable called root, which is going to be the tk interface, well, the whole tk library, and we can just call it myGUI. That's what we're going to call it. And it's going to be equal to an instance of interface that's bound to root. So this is the class, and we're binding it to tk. So now we have access to everything that tk has inside of our interface class right here. So, and then what we want to do is actually, this is a tkinter command, which is just, you can call the instance of tk and you just call main loop, and there you go. And now when we run this, it's going to pop open our interface. Actually, it probably won't. No module named tkinter. Oh no. Let's see what I did wrong. tkinter is supposed to be installed by default on 2.7. Huh, interesting. Okay, and we're using 2.7's pip. So let's see, why is how is there no module named tkinter? What the heck? That seems extremely unlikely. No module named tkinter. Okay. Oh, the capitalized T. I got bamboozled. Let's see if that works. If that works, that's going to be funny. Son of a gun. Okay, so this is what it opened. Look at that. Look at that. Wow. Wow, guys, we are freaking rocking and rolling. Steve Jobs is rolling over in his grave because we're about to cap his whole market right now. But anyway, this is what it is. You can see it created a window that's has this TK symbol, and it's just called TK because it actually doesn't have a name. And right here is where our interface would go if we had one. So that's what we're going to work on right now. So we're going to close that out. The next thing that we're going to do is pretty much get started making the interface. So what we can do is you can do master.title, and this is the name at the top of the window. And so we're going to call this Python word counter. We'll call it Python docx. There we go. And let's make the window a little bigger on default. Geometry, I believe. And then this actually takes a string of 500 by 500. That's the string I'm giving it. You can make these two numbers whatever you want to be, but this x must be in the center, and these are pixel values. So now let's run it, and it keeps opening in the other window. It's very annoying. But you can see we have Python docx word counter. That's the name of our interface now, and it's 500 by 500. Its default value is much larger, but you can always resize it. So let's kill that. Okay. So you know what we can do is we have to be smart about this. We should have a path that is already specified. Maybe let's just leave these up here for now. Actually, I don't really know what to do with them. We'll see what happens. But I know that in this class we're gonna have, so anything that I know that I'm gonna use. So look, this is an easy way of describing this. We're gonna make a function down here that is inside of the class, and it's gonna be called start. That's what we're just gonna call it, and it's gonna reference itself so that we have access to any variables we define in the init function. And what we can do is we can just do print hello world. And then what we can do is we're going to make a button that here, like, let's see, we'll call it B1. Oh, let's do capital B. B1 is button, and it'll be bound to master. And its command is going to be self.start. And so this command is calling in itself the start function. If this self wasn't here, we could call one of these functions if we so felt inclined. But what we're going to do is every time we press the button, it should call this print statement. So let's see what happens. So let's bring over our, oh, you know what? You have to do this, b1.pack. You have to pack every single object, or else they won't show up in the interface. Okay, so there's a button right here. You can hardly see it. It's kind of super small. Let's see if we can add some text. Call it I am button. Okay. There we go. Like commas like that. Okay. And actually, you know what? It may be smarter just to run it from this. Okay. So you see we've got this. And if you look at the PowerShell output, I can click this a whole bunch of times, and every time it just makes a print statement to the console. So we don't really want to have a console open when we're doing this, and if we close it, you see it automatically exited the program. So one of the benefits of tkinter is when you close it, it exits the program. So if you're like running a while loop and you just destroy it and you just like force cancel the program, it does stop the script from running, which is going to be useful because I'm sure I'm going to wind up doing that at least once in this tutorial. So anyway, that's pretty much how this all works. So this start function, the way I'm planning on using it is to modify the interface and change values as we need them. So I'm just going to get typing, and I'll be describing things along the way. And if anything gets confusing, drop something in the chat. And if you're on YouTube, leave a comment. And also, if you're going to say, "Oh my God, this code looks like a mess," thank you. I already know. Anyway. So we're going to specify some variables up here that are going to be placeholder. This one may seem familiar. It's called word count. And then we're going to have another one that's going to be the word count objective. I'm going to call it word count objective. And it's going to be equal to 0 initially first too. So what we're going to do is we're going to probably make some labels that just, labels with input fields is what I'm looking to do. So let's just call this self. Actually, these labels, I don't even think we really need to reference them at all because we're not going to be changing their values at all. So we can just call them, let's call it L1. No, that's a terrible name. Let's do capital L1 because that looks like 1-1 on some screens. That's pretty annoying. So L1 is going to be equal to, well, I think we have to make it. Let's just try this. Going to be bound to master, and the text is going to be Word document, Word doc, word counter. Well, we already have that at the top of the title, so forget this label. let's just make this. Let's make this one. We're gonna do document directory because we're gonna make them type in the or paste in the document directory, the fully qualified path. And actually, we're gonna want to add some attributes to this. So we're gonna call L1 right there. We're gonna do L1 dot grid, which is going to allow us to space things out really in a really nice way. So first thing that you should ever see on top of the screen in the 0th row is this label, and we're going to give them a friend called L2. That's going to be a label, and it's going to be master text word count objective, and this is going to be an optional argument because we don't want to make them OPTIONAL. Okay. I'm sorry you guys have to watch me sometimes spell things out. It's pretty bad, but I don't get paid to spell. I don't even think I get paid at all. So anyway, there we go. Let's see what that looks like. Let's just pop open that. So you can see right now what we have is just literally two things of text just sitting on this interface. Honestly, pretty disparate. They don't look too happy about what's going on, but that's okay because we're going to give them some friends. And these guys we're going to need to reference. So we're going to call them self, and we're going to call them E1, and it's going to be equal to entry. An entry is an input field. We're going to bind it to master, and we're going to make it 50% of whatever the width of the page is. And we're going to do self E1, and we're going to insert some basic text at the end. And we're just going to say path goes, if we want that to show up, goes here, called doc path. Document directory goes here. There you go. Okay, so that should work. And then we want to have probably another. We gotta have another input for the optional argument of the objective. So entry master, and we're going to do the same thing with this guy. We're going to give him a width of 50, and we're going to do self E2. I mean, we can have the let's just do that. We'll just do insert, and at the end, and we'll just give it a 0. Let's see if that works. Okay, first off, E3 doesn't exist. There we go. Okay, so you'll notice that our labels are showing up, but our entries are not, and that's because we forgot to do packing. So packing is going to make everything look right, but before we can do that, let's just get all the stuff down. So we're going to have some buttons, and I'm going to make them referenceable because I'm not sure if we're actually going to need to know if they were clicked or not. So master text, and we're going to have this just be start recording, which is for the word counter, and the command is going to be self.start without the parentheses. And then we're going to do self B1. I don't know why I typed in B2. And we're going to do grid, and this is going to be the third element. Who knows how this is going to look? We're pretty much going to take this again, and we want to exit. We're going to want an exit button. So close. We'll call it close program. And this is actually going to take a special function called master.quit, which this is going to call quit on the entire program, and it'll cancel it out. And then this is where we're going to want to specify the. We could probably do it up here. Do self E1. This is where we're going to specify the grid positions actually, because I forgot that we didn't do that, and since we didn't do that, they would probably just get thrown somewhere randomly on the page, which is going to look uglier than we need it to be. Oh, press an insert. Okay, 2. This is going to be should be row 1, column 1. Should be in the same column. I'm trying to see. Let's just see what this looks like. It's going to look like trash. Look at that. Look at that, guys. We aren't doing too bad. That actually doesn't look too bad. I'm actually a little surprised by how well that looks. So the next thing is that, let's see, we're going to want to show how many words he's typed out of how many words are available. Like how many words have been typed out of the objective. So that's actually going to be a string that we're going to be changing a lot. So let's just do this. Let's call it prog text. And it's going to be equal to what tkinter likes to call a string var, which basically means a variable that is going to be changing. And self dot prog text, when we first load it, is going to be equal to progress is %s out of %s, because all these things are going to be well, actually word count is going to be a digit, but we can put a %, it doesn't matter. Anyway, what we're going to do is we're actually going to pass in self word count, and then we're going to type in self wc objective. There we go. And then what we need to do is do the same process pretty much, but for the total text, because I'm going to show them the total words separately, even though it's already listed up here. I think it'd just be cool just to show that. So here we'll rename this variable total text, and total word count is that, and we can get rid of this wc objective one. So let's get rid of you. Okay, cool. Here we go. We've got those two guys going. We need to set the labels that these are going to be equal to. So these values are going to be changing. So I'm going to make them referentiable by assigning them to a variable. And it's going to be master, and we're actually going to be assigning this not a text, but a text variable to tell it that this value will be changing and that it will need to update these values. So we're going to have this, and we're going to have another value for the total word count. We're going to need to find a place to put these. So I guess just grid, and we'll do row 5. And then for this guy, put him in row 6. All right. This is where we're going to have to pack everything, because this is where it's going to get messy. So L1 pack self E1. I know we got that pack. You know what? Let's just do all our labels. There we go. 2, 3, 4. I think that's all we got. And then we've got our buttons. So we've got B1 pack, B2 pack. Help if they were named something different. B1 and B2, and then we've got E1 and E2, which these are actually, I gotta make sure that these are right. So it's actually self L3 and self L4, because these are referenced, and it's actually self B2, B1, and E1. Okay, so L1 and L2 are the only ones that don't have a self in front of them. Got it. Okay. There we go. And E2. And I guess let's just see what this looks like. This could be an absolute mess. Oh, this doesn't look bad. Except everything's backwards. Why did everything get flipped? Let's try putting things in the order that they're supposed to go in. Maybe that matters. I'm sure it does, because the order in which you pack it, I'm sure, has an effect on what the what the interface is supposed to look like. So I have an idea of what I want this to look like. I want it to be the commands. I want it to be the inputs, then the buttons to start and stop, and then I want it to be the word count progress and the word count variable. So let's see what happens. Okay. So the order in which you pack it does absolutely matter. Hey, we're all learning today. Anyway, you can see that the optional argument is already a 0, so it is technically optional. We should compensate for the fact if they leave it null, but this is the document directory goes here. You know what I'm going to do actually in the meantime is let's just we'll do temp path, and this is going to be equal, just because I don't want to have to keep typing this thing in. it's going to get annoying very quickly. Let's see. There we go. And don't forget to, well, let's leave it in and see what happens, because they're going to type, well, because they're going to type it in a certain way. You know what? We'll just keep this, we'll keep that. We'll just keep that on the, what you call it? Clipboard. There we go. I don't know why that took me so long to come up with. So this is where we're actually going to start doing kind of the work here. But let's see what happens. Let's see, we run it. And what should happen is if we check our output, if I start recording, nothing happens. And the reason that is the case is I don't know. Oh, that's why. It all got printed right there. If we run it from PowerShell, it'll live output. Hello, 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 hello. And then if we quits the program, and we get our command line back. Sorry, but things are not going to be that easy. So we're going to do the path. This is where we're going to pretty much reassign the whole way we structured our program for a single instance. Pretty much going to do it, but now we're doing it the complicated way. We are going to want to get the first entry field. You can do that. You specify the value of it, and since we have self available to us, we can do self e1 get. That'll actually give us the path back, and then what we can do is we can do self wc, I guess, objective is equal to the well, let's see, do we need to set this objective or do anything about that? Oh, you know what? Okay, yeah, we do, because right now we started at 0, but we need to find a way to get this value in case they change it to anything else. We could just do the get on it, but we actually need some conditionals on this, so it's actually not that simple. So let's see, def get word count objective, and I don't think we need anything for this function, do we? Well, no, we need the object, we need the value. Yeah, and so let's say if the value is equal to nothing, then we're going to return 0, else I want to return the value. So you could do this in one line. I'm going to break it into a function just to show that you don't need to, like, not everything you reference in the function, in the inner class function needs to reference stuff that's also in the class. You can actually just do this right here, and we can type in self e2 get. There we go. And what we also want to do is, we don't need this yet. What we also want to do is when we click the button, we don't want to allow them to click it again. So you can actually do config, and I think, no, you do state. That's what it is. And this is a string disabled. So this is going to disable the button once we click it, so that you can't keep clicking it, because each time you click it, it's going to restart. And you know, it's not a multi-threaded program, but we just don't want to give them that ability, because it's just bad user interface, because they're going to keep clicking the button thinking something's going to happen. Nothing's going to happen. So now we can get the files by listing the directory at the path, and then we can get the file list by get documents, which was that function we made earlier when we passed in files. And then we can set the word count equal to report values, and this is where we pass in the file list. And we also pass in the path. Yeah, path. There we go. Okay, so this right now isn't returning anything, and we're not updating the text or anything. So right now, what we're going to get is just a bunch of word counts. So let's just see if we print word count. It's actually only going to call this button once, I think. Let's just try it. It's the best way to know. Okay, so we got this. This needs to be documents. Copy address. So we're going to put this down here because we're probably going to need it. Okay, and we're going to leave that at 0 first, but let's see, start recording. Okay, so you see it printed 2019, but now I can't click it anymore. But it's not on a loop, so it's not like going to do anything. Like literally, we just clicked the button and we got the reading once. So all things considered, kind of trash. What we need to do right now is take this variable self-prog text and set it, reset it to the new variables. So the progress is going to be self word count, which we respecified, over the objective, which we now have, and then we want to set the total text also equal to self word count, and now it'll work. Now we can be updating these labels because the string variable is changing. Trying to think what else we should include. Maybe we can print the word count. Let's just print it to console, just so in case we're going crazy because nothing's happening. Let's see what happens. And then this is where we can actually loop the function multiple times. So we'll do after. So this is in milliseconds. So if anyone's messed with Arduino, you're used to probably converting seconds to milliseconds. But there you go. We're going to do 5 seconds. So every 5 seconds, we're going to ask for another value. We can make this super granular, do every half second if we wanted to. Let's just see how crazy that is. I don't want to be, burning this guy's battery up just because he wants to know how many words are in his freaking script, in his directory. But anyway, let's get the path again. Copy address as text. And let's set our, word count at, let's see, we know we're at 2019. So let's do 2022. So let's start the program. Progress is 2019 out of 2022. I'm a dummy. Total word count. Total text, word count. Well, you can see that we're printing out 2019 continuously, so that's kind of nice. Let's see, why is total text not being reset? It looks like it overwrote total text. Let's see, self, prog text, self, total text. Oh, this is why. I'm a dummy. There we go. So I'm sure a lot of people watching this saw that bug coming and were laughing at me the entire time. Well, joke's on you. I figured it out. Anyway, get the path file again, paste it in. Let's say we want 2022 words. That's our hit for the day. We're going to go, okay, so total word count is 2019, and we're 2019 out of 2022. We could do some math here to do some progress, like a progress, or we could actually show the word count and then show the percentage that gets calculated. If someone wants to go ahead and do that, I'm going to post this code on GitHub, and I'm actually going to show you guys the process of doing that this time, just because I feel like I skip it most of the time, and I feel like that's actually an important skill that a lot of people maybe aren't familiar with. But anyway, you can see that every half second we're printing this out. Let's see what happens if we open up a Word document. Oh, okay, so let's see what happened. So let's see. Okay, package not found at %s. No, not found. Okay, you see this tilde $doc1.x? So when you open up a file in Word on a Windows operating system, it creates a temporary file that keeps all your changes. So when you lose them, you don't actually lose them. Like, say your computer crashes, it caches that data. So what we need to do is we actually need to modify the way we read files. So if docx is in document, and let's do $, is not in document. And we can, I think, I might be confusing with Ruby right now. Let me think. No, you can use and. You can use the actual spelled out and in Python. I'm sorry, just had a brain fart. Okay, let's try it again. And is not, there we go. And not in, I'm sorry, what am I doing? Not in document, there we go. Okay, so there we go, we got that. Take our address, and let's do a word count of 2026. Start recording. So we see we're at 2019, and we also see it in the interface right here. We'll have both of them up side by side. Let's open up the doc. Look at that. We're live, baby. Hell yeah. Okay, let's go to the end and let's just say, here are some more words to read. Python. I don't think it's sensitive on spelling, but and then we're going to click Control S to save the document. Look at that, 2027 out of 2026. We are live reading these documents right now, guys. So this is actually really cool. I didn't know how well this was going to work out, and I was fully expecting just to totally like crash and burn and have to just deal with making a script and undoing all of the work in this TK inter interface. But you know what? Sometimes things just work out, and that's great. And a lot of the times they don't, and that's not so great. So anyway, let's remove the words now and save it again. And we're back down to 2020. Look at that. So I think I actually have an extra space in there. I do. So it counts spaces even if they're like at the tail end of a sentence. So that's kind of annoying. You know what? It's an estimator. That's what we're going to tell them. It's an estimator. So if you want to close the program, we can close the program. One thing I don't like though is I wonder what happens if we just do this. Let's see, we can close this. We don't really need this. Things are working out pretty well. I guess we can show him the percentage. I wonder how that's gonna work. So here we'll do this. We'll show it, and we'll do %d %%. So this %% means actually just print a percent. Like there's no variable after this. Just print a percentage sign. This %d, however, means that we're going to be sending you a variable. So what we want to do right here is we want to actually do some math, and we want to do self word count divided by self WC objective, and this is going to be a float, and this is going to be an int because I think this is reading as a string. And then the float we want to multiply. I'm all fucked up now. This is probably not the best place to put this. Let's see if this works. Okay. Get the address, copy it, and let's do 20963. Okay. So we got math, but oh, look at that. Okay, so we can change our objective. So, oh no. Whoops. Division by 0. That'll do it right there, gentlemen. Yeah, that'll get you. What we're gonna do is we're gonna take this and we're gonna do calc progress. And we're gonna pass in self word count and self WC objective. And if we and this calc progress function needs to be declared up here, or else it's not going to say it's undefined. So calc progress, and we're going to have count and objective. Probably shouldn't have done it that way. Let's call it. No, we got to do objective because obj is gonna confuse everybody by thinking it's an object. And what we want to do is if objective, which we have to actually make sure it's an int. We'll pass it in as an int. If the objective is equal to 0, then we just want to return pretty much a NA. And else, we want to return the actual value. This int is kind of redundant now. And we're going to automatically multiply it by 100. And let's make this whole thing come back as a string. So we're going to do some crazy, coercing of values, but what we want to do is, here it is. We want to pass in this guy as an int, and that'll solve all of our problems. Maybe. It might cause a lot more, to be completely honest. Do that, because sometimes Atom doesn't like to type the last parenthesis that you type if one already exists. It's extremely annoying because I have messed up parentheses so many times doing that. Anyway, let's get the address as text, and let's just run it. Okay, %d is if I'm an idiot. There we go. Okay, we can close the program also, and let's run it again. and copy address. There we go. And look at that, NA%. I might just do dash dash, it might be easier, but let's see. We're at 2019. Let's do 2020. What did we do wrong? Global name self is not defined. In what? In calc progress? Oh, did I do something wrong? Oh, I'm a dummy. What am I doing? Using self. Just pass in the actual values, you fool. There we go. And while we're here, we're just going to do dash dash. And let's close program, pop it back open, and get the address, and start recording. We're at %%. Let's do 2025, and look at that. We're not actually doing any math right now. That's kind of annoying. It's kind of a bummer. Oh, now we are. That was kind of weird. We're at 0%. 0.00%. If we have a number, it's like if we go over, it just automatically just like gets rid of the fact that we did any kind of work at all. I mean, it's very realistic that, right now we're at 100 and we're actually over 100. We need more. We want more power. Okay. Let's see if we go back to 0. Okay, if we go back to 0, it doesn't crash our program, so that's kind of chill. All right. Let's see what's going on here. So we're getting a string, and we need a float times 100, and then we coerce it to a string. I wonder what we can do. Oh, you know what? Let's do this. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put this in a print statement, and I'm going to see if the string is forcing it to just become 0 when it exceeds over 100. So we're going to see what happens here. We're going to get the address as text. We're going to go in. We're going to start recording, and let's do 2019, which is 100%. So you can see we're getting 100.0. So we're getting this float value. So let's do 2025. We're at 900%. Okay, and you see it automatically went from that to, okay, so 202 is 900% over. But the second that we hit, looks like 1,000, it looks like it's not even working yet. It's saying 900, but let's see if we do 2025, we're getting a float that is in excess of the number, and that is not doing us any good. 2019 out of 2025 is less than we need. It's like only doing it's like only working for numbers that are way less than it, but it's not working for numbers that are greater. Let's see what's going on there. Let's see. I'm trying to think what could be happening. We're taking an int, what I assume to be an int. Maybe that's what the problem is. Maybe I should, or you know what I should do? Make both these guys floats. Do some float math. Let's see what happens now. Let's see what kind of values we get. Okay. So, yeah, okay, now we're getting the right. Now what we need to do is we need to actually format this, because I do not think he cares that much about the remaining decimal places. It's pretty significant figures right there. That's what the problem was. But anyway, okay, cool. So everything's working. What we need to do is I need to figure out what in the hell the format stuff was. Let's see. Python float format. let's see. I don't remember what it is. So like, you know, oh yeah, it's something funky like this. It's percent 6.2 or percent 0.4, something like that. Okay. We want to show as many digits as possible. So what do we want to return? We want to return a string, right? Okay, well if that's the case, we can do that, but what we need to do first is calc is equal to float count over objective multiplied by 100, and then we need to do just take this, and this is actually going to make it a 6.2, I think is what we want to do, float, and then we want to do is it format? What did I just read? I forget it already. No, it's just percent. Okay. And we want to do percent calc. So this is just doing a string, and this is just a fancy way of truncating. So what we say is that we want like a maximum of 6 significant figures in the front and 2 in the back. So really 8 total significant figures for this entire percentage, which I don't think he's going to go over that. But, you know, who knows how mad this lad is. That's not going to work. Copy address as text. And we'll do 2025, start recording. We're at 99.70%, perfect. And let's say that he only wanted to type 20 words in a day because he's lazy. Then there's that. And if he wanted to type 1 word the entire day, then he's doing damn good. Okay, I'm super happy with this. Let's say that I'm trying to type 50,000 words a day. You know, not doing too bad. And also, if he closes this program, it's not like he's gonna lose progress. And also, we can go ahead and open a Word document at the same time. And actually just I want to try and get these both at the same time. We're still printing 2019. We can probably quit that. But anyway, let's see. These are some more words. 2024 out of 50,000. We're slowly making our way. Anyway, that's pretty much it. Okay, so let's package this whole deal up. What's the best way to screen record? Because we're probably going to want to make this a GIF or something. First off, let's package up the program. We don't need the print anymore. And let's see what happens if we just have a script. Let's close this window. Go to doc word counter and literally just click word count.py. Okay, so it opens up this in the background. That's kind of annoying. Is there a way to where we don't open up a terminal instance in the background? Let's look into that, because I would really like that if we didn't have to open up a terminal instance. So tk enter opens 2 windows, and I'm sure what they mean is the second background. Oh no, that's not. Opens window. There we go. Here we go. TK enter opens with window. So rename your Python script as PyW, and it will tell the invoker to instantiate a console window. Note, however, this will work for non-GUI based scripts, which would cause undesirable behavior, such as not being able to see your script. What? I've never heard of this before. Let's see what happens. Let's see if we lose all of our work. Oh, baby. Wow. Look at that. Oh, wow. This is disgusting. This is awesome. Okay, guys, like, I'm stoked about this. Anyway, we'll be selling the program for $400 a month in your firstborn child, and it is patent pending. And if you even type import anything, I will now sue you in Python. So anyway, yeah, this is pretty much the program. So obviously, this directory isn't going to do anything. It's just going to say progress 0, so that's fine. But if he actually bothers to type in the right one. See, we got progress out of this. We could do, 50,000. And you can see that we can do this, and then we could show a little video where we open up a Word document, and we look at the counter, and then we blow this other guy's GIF out of the freaking water. 2024, and this guy can just minimize this and just go about his damn day, and then just open this up and just be like, oh dude, I'm not doing bad, it's lunchtime, let's take a break. Like, okay, we made a super useful tool for this guy. So first thing is probably let's figure out how to screen record, man. I mean, I'm screen recording right now, which is a stupid question, but I also upload all this stuff to YouTube, so I really don't want to stop uploading stuff to YouTube. There's got to be a way to make like a GIF or something. I mean, I can't be recording twice, so and I don't want to have to merge these two videos together. So, let's see. Here, you can watch me Google this. There's this one that I've used before. Screen a GIF. Perfect. Okay, this is literally exactly what I was looking for. Download. Yeah, I know what it is. And I know it's dangerous. And yeah, I want this in the G drive. Don't create a shortcut. You make one start menu though. I don't really care about that. Okay. Dun, 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 dun. Watch this like totally just wreck my computer's memory, and that just be the end of the story. Okay, so we got that working. So let's open up screen to GIF. Perfect. Okay, we're gonna make a recorder, and okay, so let's rehearse the plan, guys. All right, so we're gonna open up this. Oh shit. That's going to be a problem. Okay, there we go. We're going to make sure that all of our windows are in view. Okay. So we're going to have docs. We're going to have the doc word counter, which is a script. And here we'll do something fancy like this. Show the folders here and the folders here. And then what we can do is, yeah, okay, cool. So, yeah, let's just get started. How do we start recording? Okay, here we go. 15 FPS is probably totally fine. Start recording, and then just let's open up the script. Show them that we got the program going. Open up docx. All right, and we're gonna stop. Oh shit, where'd it go? Oh, okay, cool. All right, good. I was really worried for a second. We just lost that entire thing. Okay, so let's see. It's doing the frames right now. We can close this program. And you know what? While we're here, can we edit this? Let's just edit it really quickly. And let's change that. Yeah, because every half second seems like a lot. Set it as a value at the top, and we're just going to call it refresh timer. Cool. And then what we can do is refresh times. Let's try timer for a change. Pass this, go down here, put it right in there, and then let's execute our script again. And everything should still work the same. I don't want to package this up and then friggin' give it to them and just be a complete piece of trash. Okay, no, it still works. And let's see. Let's go and modify our docx. And you see it makes that $sign doc1 right there. That's that temporary folder that I've been talking about. Okay, yeah, we're still updating values. Okay, cool. Perfect. Super happy with this. All right, let's close program. Whatever. The only thing he's going to need to install is Python 2.7. So let's see. I think I'm going to cut the YouTube video right here, but I'm going to continue streaming. So on YouTube, guys, this is pretty much the entire project. What we made again was pretty much a GUI Python application that we specify a directory and an objective for word counts, and it reads all the Word documents in that directory and automatically gives us a value, the progress, and what the total word count is. So overall, a pretty awesome project. And if you are satisfied with the video, please like, subscribe. If you have any questions, leave a comment and I will get back to you. I try my very best to respond to any comments that are questions. So thank you guys a lot. I really appreciate you watching, and I'm gonna now continue streaming on Twitch.